Listen up. I've got 3 massive Celtic stories for you today. And trust me, the last one is the kind of bombshell that could change everything. You're not going to want to miss a second of this. We've got heroes stepping up off the pitch, chaos hitting international camps, and a transfer rumor that's got Paradise buzzing already. So make sure you stick with me right till the very end. We have 6 news a day to keep you updated with the mighty Celtic. Hit that subscribe button and be part of it. Let me take a deep breath here, because this one actually brought a wee smile to my face, and that's saying something these days, considering everything swirling around Celtic and the circus off the park. So picture this. You're slogging through an international break, trying not to lose your mind because there's no Celtic at the weekend, and then up pops Kieran Tierney, the local lad, the boy who used to run down the tunnel at Paradise like he'd been shot out a cannon doing something properly brilliant. While half the Scotland squad are off doing sponsor duties and pretending they enjoy speaking to cameras, KT is actually out doing something that matters. He's helped launch this new SFA initiative called Extra Time, and honestly, for once, it's not just some daft PR fluff. Unharden. This thing is funded by the Scottish government and the SFA and gives free before school, after school, and holiday clubs to primary kids from families struggling a bit. Over 50 clubs involved, proper community stuff, proper help. And there's KT standing there with Andy Robertson and John Sutar, smiling away like the big kid he still is at heart. The SFA chief was talking about how it helps with school attendance, family pressure, holiday childcare, all the boring grown-up things that actually make a difference. And you know KT, he's neither type to show up unless he believes in it. He's never forgotten where he came from. The rain-soaked streets, the sucky hall buses, the grind. He's always been one of us, still is. And on the pitch, the lad is this close to heading back to a World Cup. Imagine that, a Celtic hero potentially lining up on the biggest stage for Scotland for the first time since France '98. All he needs is a win against Denmark at Hampton, just one win. Hampton under the lights, the place bouncing, folk roaring like it's the old days. You can practically feel it already. If they do it, KT's off to North America next summer, stepping into another chapter of the story he's been writing since the first time he pulled on the hoops as a wee boy. And I swear, even if your heart lives forever in Paradise, you can't help but root for him making that stage. But let me ask you something, just you, because you know fine well how special KT is to every Celtic heart. Would you take Tierney back at Celtic in the summer, no matter the cost, even if it meant ripping up the wage structure and upsetting the suits who clutch their pennies tighter than the blue clutch their excuses? Hit that subscribe button. Lads, let's G it lowly till we hit 1,500 no mad Celtic dafts. Let me walk you through this one, because it's got a mix of chaos, drama, and just a wee sprinkle of that football madness that only ever seems to happen when Celtic players are involved. And honestly, you couldn't script it better if you tried. So here we are, watching Scotland's route to the World Cup twist and turn like a windy night on Sucky Hall Street, and suddenly Denmark decide to completely lose the run of themselves. They've battered Belarus 6-0 before, no bother at all, and then somehow managed to bottle it when it matters, 6-0 to scraping a draw. If the Ibrox lot pulled that stunt, you'd hear the crying from Paisley to Perth. And right at the heart of it, big Kasper Schmeichel, our Kasper, the same Kasper who's barely settled into life at Celtic and is already getting dragged into international pandemonium. The poor lad's fuming, and honestly, who can blame him? Denmark had Scotland dangling over a cliff edge and let them back up with both hands. But here's where it gets properly wild. Sunday rolls in and Denmark announce half their squad is sick. A virus ripping its way through the camp just days before the game that decides their entire World Cup fate. Joachim Andersen, sick. Rasmus Højlund, sick. A staff member, sick. And the whole squad now shoved into isolation like they've been caught trying to sneak into the Barrowlands through the side door, Schmeichel included, our keeper, stuck in a hotel room somewhere, squirting hand sanitizer like he's spraying champagne after a cup final. No training, nay proper prep, just vibes and vitamin C. Amazing for Scotland. Absolutely terrible timing for Celtic because we need him fit for St Mirren at the weekend. With the injury list already longer than the excuses coming out of the blue half of the city, the last thing O'Neill or Nancy, if the club ever gets this done, needs is our new keeper coming back home coughing like he stood outside Celtic Park without a jacket. And look, Schmeichel's backup, Sinisalo, has just played for Finland in a 1-0 loss to Malta. Loss to Malta? That doesn't exactly fill you with confidence heading into a tricky away day in Paisley, does it? So here's my question to you, and I want you to really think about this because it's one of those opinion-splitting situations. If Kasper Schmeichel comes back from international duty still unwell, would you trust Sinisalo in goals for Celtic, or would you rather the club sign another experienced keeper in January, even if it costs serious money? Hit that subscribe button. Lads, let's G it laldy till we hit 1,500 mad Celtic dafts. Let me sit you down for this one because this is the kind of rumor that gets a Celtic fan's pulse going quicker than a last-minute winner against you-know-who. January's creeping up, the wind in Glasgow's picking up that familiar bite, and suddenly we're talking about a proper bit of firepower, possibly heading our way. A lad who actually scores goals, creates goals, and does it with swagger. You've got my attention already. So here's the story. Diego Rossi, 27, Uruguayan international, and before you roll your eyes thinking he might be another one of those project players who take half a season just to find the corner flag, absolutely not. This boy's numbers are outrageous. 45 goals in just over 100 games for Columbus Crew, including 19 last season alone. That's the kind of return that makes you wonder why the Celtic scouting team didn't camp outside his house years ago. And here's where it gets tasty. With Nancy looking all but set to land in paradise, he'll want to put his own stamp on the squad. Not a wee stamp either. More like a big thundering imprint, the sort you leave on a snowy morning walking up to Celtic Park. And Rossi, he screams Nancy signing, pacey, clever, direct, and he loves playing in that attacking structure Nancy builds. Add a bit of Uruguayan bite, and suddenly that front line starts looking like something that'll keep defenders awake at night. Now, Columbus have the option to keep him another year, but let's be honest, when Celtic come calling with the lights of paradise, the roar of the Green Brigade, and the chance to score in front of 60,000, MLS clubs know the script. They can hold on, but players like Rossi don't ignore when a giant knocks at the door. And look at his journey. Penarol, LAFC, Fenerbahce, back to MLS. Everywhere he's gone, he's found the net. 59 goals in Los Angeles, 10 in Turkey. And let me tell you, scoring 10 in the Super League is no easy shift. There are defenders there who tackle like they're auditioning for the WWE. Then you've got Tim Bezbatchenko calling him a winner and a natural fit for their culture. Great, brilliant, lovely wee quote. But what's really important is whether he fits ours, the Celtic way. And you know what? He might just quick, technical, always direct. And he puts the ball in the net, exactly the type of forward who'd link brilliantly with Deason on one side, Yang on the other, and Kalmak pulling the strings behind. But the question, the one that's going to divide opinions quicker than a refereeing decision at Ibrox, is this: should Celtic go all in to sign Diego Rossi in January under all, or should the club focus the money on a proper striker instead, someone to lead the line and bully defenses the way a Celtic number 9 should? Go on then, tell me. Hit that subscribe button. Lads, let's get it loldy till we hit 1,500 mad Celtic dafts.